5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into episode 3 of Survivor Season 45. This is the Clingers Have Spoken. I'm Joel. Along with me, as always, is my brother Michael, and we just watched episode 3 of Season 45 of Survivor. One of the best episodes I've seen in a while. Michael, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I love when a player is put out by their own over hustle, you know?
Yes.
When you're just trying too hard, you're in a great spot and you just try too hard. You try too hard, too fast, and you got. That was awesome. Like the way Jeff was talking about the idol that was in the wax, I was like, there's going to be a catch with this idol. I should have assumed it would be the same catch that was in the other idol that was in this episode. But yeah, it was a great episode. Never before seen melting something at Tribal Council, just the added drama. Like it was hard to follow the conversation because it kept going back to the wax in the fire, but it was still a cool Tribal Council.
That was incredible. Like, I think that I was wondering if Jeff would even allow that to happen, because we've seen times where players have tried to do things or they're just no, it's not how this works, or that's not an idol, all this stuff at Tribal Council. But honestly, I feel like Jeff was so excited because he knew the twist that was in there, and he knew that Sabiyah had no idea, nor did anyone else in the tribe. And he was just oh, this is actually going to be amazing. Because literally no one knew except for Jeff that was in that scene what was about to happen. And Jeff honestly didn't know it was about to happen, which honestly makes it even greater.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the same thing. I was like, I don't know if they're going to be allowed to do that. But then, the number one rule is if something's going to be good television, you not, completely outside the bounds of the game and the rules, you kind of let it happen. So they rolled with it and it worked out. I loved that she didn't open it until she got into the voting booth.
Oh my gosh.
Then she was like, oh, I guess I'm going to do this. It's tempting. I too would want to, I'd much rather have an idol through the end of the game than to, just the one Tribal Council. That's worth two votes to me if I'm feeling like I'm in a strong position.
Right.
And she felt like she was in a strong position, but she wasn't. The problem is though, even if her thinking is right, we're going to vote Caleb out tonight, but then you're going to be in a tribe of 3 and you're not going to have a vote if you go to tribal again. So we're talking about a unbreakable tie, basically.
Yeah. Well, so I think it works she would get her vote back. So now that Austin has this, if they go to tribal before the merge, the big merge, then he can not vote then and still have the idol and then be able to vote again until the merge. And then it just it resets. You know what I mean? So
no, I thought she'd have to give up her vote twice more.
No, so it's just you sacrifice the first vote, you go to Tribal Council with the idol, and then once you make the merge, you're faced with the same problem again, where you can either vote in the first merge vote or you can not vote and get an idol. That's the way that I understood it from what Drew said and what Austin said, and what I read the piece of paper as. Because if you do it twice, it would just be the second time with the big merge with everybody on the same island. That's what they said. So I was just blown away. Also, you could tell Jeff was nudging her to he was what's what do you got there? You got it? You got it? You got what is that? And she's like, yeah, I got my idol. It's chill. And he was like, oh, do you though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was so interesting because he was man, I don't want to spoil the game for everybody, but also you have no idea what's happening.
Right. And I think that he played it perfectly. Like
Yeah.
he didn't give anything away, but like he tried to get the what he wanted, and then he was like, okay, fine. Like it'll be interesting if it plays out like this too. So yeah, I thought Jeff handled it really well at Tribal Council.
Yeah. I just, man, because we were watching at the same time, and you texted me, you were like, I think it's Emily. And I texted, I was like, no, I think it's Sabiyah. Like, because I mean, and honestly, Emily she didn't catch one vote tonight. And it's just like, oh man, like, I think it was just so interesting how they kept playing up like Sabiyah was so confident, even though at that moment she didn't have a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And like was going to make this big flip of a move. And I tweeted out, "You come at the king, you best not miss." And that's a quote from The Wire, from Omar. But basically,
Caleb is the king. You're saying
Caleb is the king. Literally, Caleb is the king of Survivor 45 right now. But he's going to other people's islands, and everybody's like, "Oh, this dude's great at the game." Like this dude.
I don't know.
Good.
I mean, it seemed to me like they were super sus about him. Like they were like, we got to watch out for Caleb because he's a player.
Sure, totally. Yeah, that definitely happened. But also, like, maybe Caleb is priority number one on some people's hit list. But also, like, I feel like with people like Drew and people like that, they're going to think, oh, this is a guy that can help me get further in the game. And like, I think that's true. I mean, it's clearly true. We've already seen it. Emily was a goner last week, and now she's still in the game, even though she's been through 2 tribal councils. Like the guy is good at the game. He has an ally in Emily that was gifted an opportunity to stay safe and still risked and said, no, we're going home. And then the ability to believe in that moment and actually assess the situation correctly was very impressive from Caleb to me.
Yeah, I thought, well, I thought, I didn't think Caleb was going to choose because, like, I thought Sabiyah actually played it really well because she told Caleb, well, I'll tell Emily I'm voting for you. And then you tell Emily you're voting for me so that when Emily goes to Caleb and is like, hey, they're trying to vote you out, Caleb would be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
That's what Sabiyah told me she was going to say. Everything's normal. She just did a really convincing job of it. And so when Sabiyah had that conversation with Caleb, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I wonder how often stuff like that happens that we don't see, because before in this season, it's always been 60-minute episodes. But in a 90-minute episode, we get to see Sabiyah's incite we're going to vote Caleb out. And then we get to see Emily's reaction to it, to the camera. And then we get to see them touch back again. We get to see Sabiyah and Caleb talk about what they're telling Emily. And I thought it was really, really a well-played move by Sabiyah. But that goes to show you, like you said, when you're coming at somebody with all the right connections, the person, if you're telling someone who's more connected to that person than they are to you, you're going to vote them out. You have a high percentage chance of getting burned.
Yes.
And Caleb was like, Emily seems deadly serious. She's not acting crazy. She's acting legitimately, not a thing of they're just trying to throw me off the scent. They're voting me. They're legitimately voting you tonight.
Yeah.
I thought Emily did it. Emily shined this episode, man.
Yes.
What a turnaround.
Is she the winner? I mean, that was impressive because I feel like she's going to come into the merge and everybody's going to think oh, Emily's weird. Nobody cares about Emily. But man, if she sticks with Caleb and then Caleb's a threat and she's still navigating stuff on her own, oh man, I watched the Lulu Tribe tonight, and maybe other than Sean, I didn't have there were no problems. There was just good gameplay by everyone. You know what I mean? everyone assessed the situation mostly correctly except for Sabaya. But even if Sabaya doesn't keep the idol and votes, they're going to rocks, and Sean's probably going to jump. Like it was such a good, strong episode of like good gameplay all around. On the Lulu tribe.
Yeah.
Man, like I was glued the whole time because I really didn't think they were going to go back to tribal again that fast. And then they did. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, I don't know why you think they weren't going to go to tribal again. I told you they were going to tribal last week.
They won the reward challenge. Like they won the challenge they didn't need to win. And then they lost the immunity challenge.
In fact, I'm fairly certain on last week's episode of this podcast, I said Sabaya is going to try to get Caleb out. Emily's going to tell Caleb, and Caleb's going to be saved. That's what I said. Now, I thought there was a really high percentage chance that Emily was going to tell Caleb. Caleb was going to circle back with Sabaya and Sean, and Sabaya was going to be like, no, she's like, I told her the plan that we talked about, blah, 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 blah. And then she was going to go back with Sean and be like, no, legit, we need to vote out Emily because Emily's not trustworthy, can't be trusted with these plans. She's trying to undercut us. But I think Emily waited until right before they went to tribal council to have that conversation with with Caleb, because that's what she said. She was like, I know it's right before tribal, but this is what I have to tell you. I need to clarify this with you, that you are going home tonight unless you vote for Sabaya. And I thought that was really well played, because if she circles back with 3 hours before tribal to tell Caleb that, Caleb and Sabaya and Sean have time to sort all that out and say, she said, what now? Blah, 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 blah. But the fact that she waited until it seemed like they were right about to go to tribal, I thought made all the difference.
Yes. Like, oh my gosh, just stellar all around. It reminded me of Shannon Ricard when they were down to the 3 people with that third person. I forget her name. With Jeannie, yes. And they literally had to like, well, I'll tell her it's you, and then I'll tell her it's you, and you'll tell her it's me, and then we'll just vote her out. But even they didn't really fully trust that. They were just kind of like, I guess, like, hopefully I trust the other person enough this time. Mm-hmm. And like that one worked to their advantage. And this one was catastrophic. Like I respect Sabaya's thinking and that we need to get Caleb out. But as I saw on Twitter, someone tweeted, there's nothing like saying, can we win with this person in the final 3 when there are 16 people in the game? Like, mm-hmm. You have 13 more opportunities to vote this person out. Like, you don't need to do that right now.
No, it's good to keep like threats in the game into the merge.
Yes.
So that they can get voted out before you.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yes. Especially ones that you're like aligned with, because they're up first on the chopping block. And then if they get blindsided, boom, then maybe that's just like, okay, we'll reset. And then who else, what other alliances do we need to break up? Like you're in a great spot. You don't need to do that so fast. Especially when like, I felt like they were getting along. Like Sabaya and Caleb were like good, I didn't notice any beef between them, and they're just immediately like gone now. Like that alliance is done.
Yeah. On David Bloomberg and Jessica Lewis's podcast, YX Lost. Rob has a podcast, group of pods. They have one of the rules that they have for why someone would get voted out, or like the rules of Survivor. The rule that Sabaya broke was that she schemed and plotted too much. So yes. You can scheme and plot not enough, and you can scheme and plot too much. And that is exactly what Sabaya did. Look, this is not, don't make this harder than it has to be. There's 4 people left on your tribe, and 3 of you have voted together this entire time. And in fact, if it gets to 3, you're still not going home because you're closer to the other two than they are to each other. So just go with it. Just vote out the
Yes.
fourth person, get down to 3, and if you go again, then you will still be safe. And then they're not going to let you go and keep being a tribe when there's 2 people left. So I thought that was just take it easy, take a chill pill, like pump the brakes a little bit. And that's one thing. Like, if we can transition to talking about some of the other tribes, like
Sure.
there's other tribes that are like not going to tribal. Neither other tribe has gone to tribal council yet, but they're all already figuring out who their voting block is. And I'm like, I understand wanting to be in a good position in case you have to go to tribal, but like, if you have watched Survivor in the last 5 years, you know that this group that you've got together today, in case you have to go to tribal, after the challenge, that's going to get flipped around at least twice. And then if you don't go to tribal, then you just like rearranged it and now it's all really weird. And you don't really know what's going to happen because you've never been to tribal. You don't even know who's lying to you yet. You don't even know who's actually on your side yet. And so these tribes like Bello, like it's like girls versus boys in their mind, but really it's Brando and is it
Kelly, Brando and Kelly,
who are really the power players.
Yeah, and like I have a question. Would you rather be in a red tribe situation or a blue tribe? Because red tribe seems to be like, okay, there are 4 of us, like there are like 2 pairs essentially that we're all going to work together. Or would you rather be Drew right now, or would you rather be Kelly or Brando in a tribe that is like more fluid, where no one has said, yeah, we're voting this person out. This is my alliance. And it's just kind of more like it's probably going to be Bruce, but nobody has like explicitly said we're together other than like the girls and maybe Brando and Kelly.
I mean, yeah, I think I'd rather be in the below situation that's more fluid because like the amount of he said, she said that's going to go on whenever Reba goes to tribal council. When they go to tribal council, there's going to be a lot of like, oh, the 4 of us are together. But like they've already been doing this we're together thing long enough and they're already sus enough of each other.
Yes.
I could see them being like, you know what? The 4 of us, we're going to vote together on day 1, but now it's day 9 and we've not been to tribal council yet. And we don't know if we want to do that. Like Dee and Mama Julie should be very sus of Austin and Drew.
And they are.
And I think they are.
are.
I think they are. Like, even though, in Drew and Austin's mind that they've kind of like made up for this sus stuff by coming clean, blah, 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 blah. I think that they need to be more sus of those guys, honestly. Yeah. Like when Julie like just gave them the hammer, it's like, no, y'all should go over there and find that idol yourself. Don't just like give it to them because I don't know why. Because they weren't even there when they found the rope and when they did all that. Then they went and hid the rope, but then they just ended up giving the hammer to Austin anyways. It didn't make sense to me.
So this is what I disagree with. So Victoria on Twitter said the same exact thing where she would like keep the hammer, go look for the idol themselves. But how would they know? Like that idol was so complicated. It's not like they would stumble on anything. And if they couldn't find it, and if they found the rope that would have to be somewhat nearby and saw it all just bungled up and it wasn't there before, they would know. Like I just don't think, I think the correct call was to give Austin that thing because like, if you want to have trust and you have this 4 and they told you, now you could be skeptical of them and not trust them as much, but like, I don't see a way around getting it yourself without them finding out. And then there goes your 4, you're down to 2. And then it's just, hopefully you pick up the other 2 before the other people do. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think you're giving Austin and Drew a little bit more credit than they deserve they dug at that thing for a really long time by themselves and found nothing. I don't think that they're actually going to find that rope. And if they do find it, I don't know that those guys are as smart as they think they are to put two and two together of what happened. So I don't think it's for sure that Austin and Drew would have found out if they had just run off and started hammering the rocks over there. But like what Dee said, she's like, it would have been good to have the idol, but it's also good to have this, like, solidify this four in this alliance. And Austin can say, this is for all of us, all we want. That's not true. That's just not how Survivor works. There's one idol, there's four people. The person who holds the idol is the one whose idol it is. And they might try to take advantage of Drew or of Austin if they think he doesn't have his vote, but Drew can restore Austin's vote. So Drew and Austin are kind of in control over there. They've got an idol. They're able to restore the vote that they're going to lose. They've got a lot of different things going on in their favor. I don't really get exactly why no one wants to work with Tfue or J Maya. They seem like perfectly fine people to work with. So I don't really know why that's like 4-on-2 so clearly over there. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep not going, which they're going to not go to tribal, because we're going to see next episode a tribe swap. So especially if you're going to a tribe swap, it's much better to be from the undefined tribe, like below, where it's like, not only have we not been to tribal, but like, it's not even been clearly stated like who was with who. Like that's not even out in the open. Where I'm sure it's pretty clear at Reba who the pairs are. Yeah. And it's really like, it seems more like it's two pairs and then it's like two singles over at Reba. So I'd much rather be coming from the blue tribe where like, we haven't been to tribal. We're all somewhat working together here. We haven't had to, break that seal and everyone figure out who's on whose team. So I think going into a swap, I'd rather be from below than from Reba.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. I think like honestly, the people that have the most power in this game are Kelly and Brando, to be completely honest, because they're all chill with everybody in their tribe. They're good. They're solid. But they also know that of their tribe, they're like the middle. Like they're the core two, they're the middle two of the six, and they're on each side is Bruce on the one side, and then maybe like Katurah on the other, and then like Jake and Kendra, and then them two in the middle. And like, that's such a good position to be in, like you said, where there's just no lines drawn in the sand, and no one knows that you are in the middle except for the two people that are in the middle, because a lot of times, we saw it where Sarah got voted out in her first season, where like she was in the middle and everyone knew that she was in the middle. So then she started playing and everybody's like, oh, well, let's just vote her out. If no one knows you're in the middle, it's perfect. But obviously that won't last for very long. But now that they're swapping tribes, it may last for a while more.
Yeah. And next time on Survivor, I found it interesting that Emily seemed excited about the tribe swap. And I don't think that was a mislead. I don't know why she'd be excited. I feel like at this point on Yellow, it's like, we can lose again.
And lose Sean.
Me and Caleb are still voting together because Sean is in a tough spot. Did you see the face that Sean made whenever Sabaya got voted out tonight?
Yes.
It looked like he had pooped his pants.
Yes.
That is the face he made, like, oh, I have figuratively soiled myself, and now I'm literally soiling my pants because I have just absolutely tanked my own game completely without reason.
Yes.
Like Sean is the definition of just follower, like good to do whatever, gonna like roll with whatever strong personality. I know he's gonna go and he's gonna kiss up to Caleb really hard now and try to nag Emily and be like, oh yeah, it's still us, man. We're still together. like, yeah, like Sabaya, she was just putting all stuff in my head, but we're still together, man. It's like, no, dude.
You can't say that.
Caleb and Emily are bonded now
Yeah.
because Emily had a chance to vote Caleb out without him knowing and didn't take it and saved him, and they voted together to vote out a power player. These two are bonded now, and I think Caleb thinks Emily is my GOAT. I'm taking her all the way to the finals. And I think Emily's thinking Caleb's a strong player and he's not going to make it to the end, but I might.
Yes.
So I think that they're a great pair. And I think that they both, at this stage in the game, have the understanding about each other that's going to it's going to motivate them to keep the other around.
Yeah. And I'm so looking forward to that. I wonder what happens if they get split up. Like, I don't know how that's going to work, because I feel like it's very different, because Emily would try to just probably like fade into the background, where Caleb would probably just like be like, okay, what's going on? How can I help you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think the most likely thing that's going to happen when a tribe swap is whoever goes to tribal council, if there's more blues than reds, they're going to vote out reds. If there's more reds than blues, they're going to vote out blues, because they're going to want to even the numbers out. And both sides are going to try to pull in the Lulus to vote with them and vote out whoever's in the minority there. But if I'm a Lulu and there's more blues, let's say, how many people are left? There's going to be 15 people left, and they're going to sort it. I guess they're probably going to get sorted into 3 tribes.
Yeah.
Not 2. I was thinking 2 in my head. But if they get sorted into 3 tribes, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
All the Lulus are together and they just dominate. They lose again. They just keep sending another.
Yeah, no, that would be great. It's 3 Lulus and then a Reba and a Below. And it's like, welcome,
tough.
guys. I hope that you enjoyed your time here on Survivor.
Like, they get like J Maya and like Kelly. And it's like, okay, you're done. Oh man, that'd be funny. You just never know.
What else in tonight's episode did you find to be interesting or worth comment?
I thought Sifu and J Maya's music thing was interesting. That explained a lot of that dynamic to me, where Sifu's like this really weird guy, but he works hard and he's nice. So everybody's like, oh, okay, like we vibe, but like nobody really vibes with them. You know what I'm saying? Because like J Maya was kind of looking at him like, oh, okay, yeah, go, okay.
Yeah, like he's not like a pain to have around, but like he's nobody's best friend. Like no one, I think feels like they don't have anyone from home that they hang out with that's like him, that they're like, he reminds me of my friend, so like he's kind of reminds me of Luke Sison, but
yes,
but like other than that, I don't know anyone like him.
Like high key Luke Sison. Yeah.
Like if he was a TV character.
Yeah. I really enjoyed. Okay, so also like the Jake, like half seizing or passing out, they didn't call medical in at all for that. Like, are we sure they did it, or did you think they just didn't show it? Because
surely they did it.
I'd be pretty freaked out if I was Jake. I'd be pretty freaked out if I was Kendra. That would be, I don't like, can we like call a doctor, be like, hey, like I'm good, he's good, he just did this thing, or some explanation for what happened, because we don't have any explanation for what that was. And that's kind of terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would assume that medical came out, but it was probably, they just were like, yeah, he got a little bit lightheaded and lost his balance, so we're okay. No need. Like, it was probably just not very dramatic, so they didn't show it. But what I think is that it was a moment of bonding between Kendra and what's his name? Jake. I think it was a moment. I think one of the reasons they showed it is because it was a bonding moment between Kendra and Jake, and I could see them kind of I don't know about how this women's alliance versus men is going to go because, well, especially now they're switching up. I could definitely see where Kendra and Jake end up on the same tribe, and they end up kind of being a pair moving forward in the game. So then you've got from Blue, you've got Brando and Kelly, and then you've got Kendra and Jake, and then you've got Keturah and Bruce, but they're not together because she finds
Keturah really doesn't like Bruce.
Annoying. Yeah. No, she keeps harping on how she doesn't find him to be a fun person to be on the tribe with. Yeah. I thought that Keturah showed a lot of like good social strategy when she was talking to the camera tonight, because she was like, I find Bruce to be really annoying, and I think other people do too, but I don't say anything. I just wait until other people say that they're annoyed with Bruce, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, that was crazy when he did that. I can't believe I can't believe that. So that she's not the one who's like, anything gets back to Bruce, it's not like Keturah was going around bad mouthing you. It's like, oh yeah, somebody else said that, and I just laughed along because that's what you do on Survivor. You know, I wasn't trying to start anything. So I thought she showed a lot of like really good social strategy. That's the kind of thing that we are getting to see in a 90-minute episode, like that we wouldn't have seen in a 60-minute episode. I wish that like Michelle Fitzgerald on Survivor Kaoh Rong, I wish we could have seen 90-minute episodes, the 90-minute cut of that. Yeah. Because I'm sure there's a lot of things that are like that she's really good at. One of the best Survivor players ever to do it. But it's not stuff that you see on a 60-minute episode where all that you see is a reward challenge, immunity challenge, 10 minutes of strategy talk in tribal council. If that's all that you're seeing, you're not seeing all these character moments and all of these interpersonal dynamics at play. You're not seeing how someone like Michelle Fitzgerald is actually one of the best Survivor players ever.
Yeah, it's less of a move game to the audience, and it's more of like a social game, which is what it is, right? Like before, all we could see is like moves. Like I thought Xander played a great game and, you know, deserved to win or deserved to whatever. And the people on the island saw stuff Erica did that we may not have seen. And it was probably more consistent and just better. And they didn't even think about her. And she was in a lot of conversations. All that stuff is totally valid. We just don't see that, you know? So when they name Erica the winner of Survivor, who was totally not there for the first 4 weeks of the season, that's hard for me to wrap my head around, but it makes sense because they just can't show all of it. And now they're being able to show more of it.
Yeah. And I mean, we didn't see any of Heather. We didn't see a ton of Erica, but we saw like no Heather that season. Right. And Heather made it all the way to the end. And, you know, I wonder if we had 90-minute episodes, we're seeing more of like, as much as we're seeing of Julie. Like Julie's been a really fun character to watch this season. Yes. Just the way that she's like interacting really well with these younger players and, you know, kind of making bonds with them and running around with Dee. I just think that's so interesting because like when I first saw the Red Tribe Reba, I was like, okay, here's how the breakdown is going to go. We've got Dee and Jay Maya, and they're going to be a pair. And then we've got Austin and Tfue and Drew and Julie. And I was like, I don't know exactly how that's going to shake out. But what I didn't really see coming was that Julie and Dee were going to be the pair on the tribe along with Austin and Drew. But like Austin and Drew, I don't even know how tight they actually are, or if they are just kind of like, he's the other like big strategic player on this tribe, so we're working together.
But that kind of makes you a pair. It's like a situationship, right? But it's like the situation is right now, and they're kind of going together, and they're each other's number one, and they work together, especially since Drew has all the information that Austin has, and he has the thing that can make his idol less scary. Like that's the perfect combo, honestly. Yeah, it's just very interesting to see all of that happening, and I'm very excited to be seeing all of it. I'm very proud of Julie because we're seeing a lot of the mom game, and she's doing it very well. She's doing the mom game like better than I've seen in a long time. And it's a lot of times I feel like a lot of older people, they don't really know how to relate. So they're like, oh, I'm just your mom. But then that person on the testimonial is like, yeah, she's weird, but like if she votes with me, that's fine. Like I'll drag her. But Julie is very much like in it. Like she's very much involved in what's happening. And I agree. She's doing a great job. Shout out Middle Tennessee. Let's go.
Yeah, she's wearing that TriStar cap.
Yes.
In tonight's episode.
Yes. Anything else on Survivor?
The main reason I thought it was Emily tonight was the score that they played during the immunity challenge. Is they painted it as it was like this really like sad moment for Emily in particular, that they had built it up, and then like you could see the whole thing crumbling down, and they kept going to her face like she was like the senior on the team that was about to lose in the NCAA tournament, and they kept going back to her face and playing this like score that I don't know had been on Survivor before. Definitely not a challenge. Something you might see at Tribal Council for a beloved character. And they started playing that during the immunity challenge as things are falling apart for Lulu. And that's why I thought it was Emily. Because I was like, okay, like this is Emily. Of course, they fooled us with that. But I was like, wow, they're giving Emily like some flowers here for her send-off. And
no, they're giving her flowers for her rise, bro. Like this is Emily's ascent into like, Survivor
this
lore.
Right here is rock bottom. It's all uphill for Emily from here.
Yes,
I'm starting to believe that that's on the table at this point.
Oh, it's totally on the table. She'd probably be in my like top 5 of like winners that I would choose right now, honestly. Because it's just been a massive glow up for her, and I'm happy for her. Yeah. We got like 2 minutes left. The Titans are in Britain this Sunday, playing in the early in the morning. What do we think? They're going to take down Lamar or no?
I don't know, man. They stink, and the Ravens stink too. I kind of think they'll win because they generally don't lose 2 games in a row, but they also don't win 2 games in a row. So they're on their way to being 8-9 this season. So they'll probably beat the Ravens, but also, who knows? Like this team is so frustrating to watch.
Yeah. It's true.
It's really frustrating. Like the offense, like the defense, like the offense, a lot of people are like the offense was fine last time. It was defense. Well, the offense didn't put up many points. Their red zone touchdown percentage was terrible. Like they need to be getting 7 whenever they get like remotely close to the end zone because they stink. They don't get close very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're terrible. I'm not really looking forward to the rest of the season. Not looking forward to next season, really.
Not looking forward to the next 3. Yeah. To be honest.
I think it might get really bad before it gets good unless Malik Willis or Will Levis ends up being like a top half NFL quarterback. It's going to get ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was Titans Talk, and that was mostly episode 3, season 45 of Survivor. I am looking forward to next week. We will see what happens with the tribe swap, and that's going to be it for us. I'm Joel. That's Michael. The Clingers have spoken.
See ya.